Hello, and welcome to Flix and the Six. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Costanzo. With me, forever and always, the other guy in the room, Alessandro Baelsi.
Wow.
Come on.
That wasn't...
It's just a fact.
I mean...
I'm not lying.
Well, you're not lying, but of all of our intros so far. Yeah, I'm still pouring. What do you want?
This unconventional episode is going to be all about superhero movies.
And we're going to do something a little different with the beer, too.
Yeah, we're going to dig deep. But first, what are we drinking first? Little hint of what's to come.
Drinking part one?
Yeah.
Beer's part one. What we have here is...
Beer's part in.
No, we don't do the French thing.
Oh,
it's not
sorry.
okay. And if you're French and you're listening, we appreciate your patronage, but fuck yourself.
Wow. No. I don't know. I don't agree with that.
I mean, we love you, or whatever. We're drinking Sixpoint.
God.
Sixpoint Tesla, which is a fresh hop charged lager. It was said that Tesla would visualize fully functioning inventions in his mind before even setting pen to paper. God, I couldn't have read that worse. To start with a realized formulation in the mind's eye, see it, smell it, and taste it, then harness the right materials to create it. Now that's mad science.
Here's a question. Are we actually allowed to do that?
Do what?
Read it right off the can like that? That's probably fine.
Well, I'm not saying that I came up with this. I'm crediting it to them, so...
Fair.
They're not sponsoring us, bastards. But
She didn't even ask! You can't get mad at them.
Can't I?
No!
So, in case we needed to clear this up, this was formulated by the mad scientists, Sixpoint Brewery, Brooklyn, New York. So this lager is 7.1% alcohol by volume. It's 49 IBUs, 9 SRM, and it's a lager.
Here he goes talking about the cans again. Anthony coming in hot. I like these little thin
Yeah, it's
cans.
interesting, right?
They're fun.
It's cool.
All the 6 points are like that, right?
Yeah.
All the ones that I've had, at least.
Spoiler alert again.
There's going to be more.
There will be
where that came from.
Yeah, no, that's cool. They're much easier to hold.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like to hold several of them. You know what I mean?
It's iconic.
If you're drinking with friends, like if you have friends and you're drinking with them and you want to scoop a couple of beers on the way
If you have friends?
and you want to come in the room and have several cans, it's much easier to hold a couple of them in your hand.
Strong implication. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's where that supercharge is at.
Yeah.
That is pretty good.
And, it reminds me this is becoming a thing now.
What's that?
Let me put on my beer snob cap real quick. The whole thing of hopped lagers.
I heard they recently added more hops.
Underrated reference from that movie. It has a million great lines. IPA is obviously it's an old style of beer, great style of beer. But technically IPL and the beer style guides doesn't exist. India Pale Lager, even though breweries are making them now, unless they've changed it recently. But as of the last time I'd seen a year ago, it wasn't a quote unquote recognized thing for beer competition and stuff like that. I don't know why. Just because it's one of those institutional things where we get snobby and we don't change with the times until we're forced to, kicking and screaming. But it reminds me of, because there's little enough variation and within one style of lager, it reminds me somewhat of the one that's from, the hell's the name of the brewery? I'm just thinking of the beer Sculpin. It's Ballast Point. That's
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to that one, right?
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah.
I like all their beers that I've had.
Oh, yeah. Great beers.
Yeah.
They also not sponsor us.
I think it's just safe to assume that none of them, until we say it.
Until said otherwise, yeah.
Yeah. There's the disclaimer now.
I don't know. I kind of think it's a fun, maybe everyone's guessing. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're like, why is he bringing this up?
So, do you want to give your little flavor profiles and stuff before I get into my review?
Yeah, we can do that if you want. I gave the stats.
You gave the read.
I gave the read and I gave the stats. Yeah, it's
how's it on the palate? I don't know. I gave him a little hand motion that was not at all palate. It was awkward.
It looks like you're tickling the balls, and I don't know why you're doing that.
That's
weird. I was thrown. I was just going to move past it. You brought it up.
Yeah. This whole show is going to be unconventional.
Yeah, we're doing
recording in a new space.
New space. New format just for this episode.
Yep.
We'll go back to the
Crazy.
tried and true. But we want to try something a little different. Mix it up, keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look up...
Can't let it plateau now.
Well, of course. I'm not 100%...
What are we, amateurs? God.
You know what? I'm not 100% sure what style of lager it is. They're unnaturally coy on the can and like keep giving all the details. So I'm just looking it up real quick and vamping somewhat. But it's nice. It's hoppy. It's got let's see what they say on the website here.
I couldn't like place it in between some of the other ones that we've had, but I would say it's up there for me. Obviously, as we spoke about on the previous episode, that
better than the holiday soy style. I guess
it's better than the holiday soy style. But you know,
everyone liked that beer. I don't know what's wrong with it.
I didn't dislike it. All right, this is not going to be a thing.
It's already a thing. It's the third episode we've mentioned the soy style.
Maybe you could tell me what the line is between this and the Heady Topper, but there's certain things in there that I taste similar that I really like.
Right off the bat, the things that are similar: hops.
The worst. They are beers.
So this does have big doses of American hops. This is straight from their website. Although, again, playing coy, they haven't said what sort of hops, and they're not even giving me what sort of malts they're using.
Very secretive.
Yeah, it's weird. Most companies are much more forthcoming than this.
Secret recipe? I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool, a little mystique, cultivating a little mystique. But
appreciate it.
The big difference between this and Heady Topper is that that's an ale and this is a lager. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have more info to give you. I mean, it's very clear, which is a hallmark of a lager. If you're drinking a lager and it's not clear, run.
Okay.
It's a byproduct of.
I'm getting a lesson here because.
Yeah, you guys are gonna get a little lesson here from whenever I can with my more than nothing knowledge on beer. With the amount of
my more than nothing
with the brewing I do myself and the much more drinking I've done of beer. Yeah, the type of yeast that they use for lagers, one of the byproducts is that it is a very clear product.
I hate that word.
What?
Yeast.
Oh, well, you like beer, so you got to pizza the word. Yeah. Did I see yeast sitting in your refrigerator? Was that a yeast starter in that little measuring cup?
No, that was a cold coffee that has separated from the cream.
Okay, because it looked gross.
It's going down the sink.
And it looked like a yeast starter.
Yeah.
Although I was disturbed by it because it's not covered, and you shouldn't have an uncovered yeast starter.
Right. It's just a bacteria farm in my refrigerator.
So, that's
fungus?
why. What?
Bacteria? Fungus? What is yeast? Fungus. No. It's alive. That's all I know.
It is alive. I think it's a fungus.
Yeah. Anyway.
I hope it's fungus. Because now I've put my name to it. So that's that. Let's get to the movie.
Well, it's not a movie.
Let's get to the movies.
Today.
Let's get to the topic.
So, as we mentioned in the intro, this one's going to be about superhero movies as a whole.
Before we rambled a bunch.
Right. We, something Al and I have been talking about for a while we wanted to get into. Just a fun little chat about the current state of affairs.
Ah, nice. Branding, I like it.
And what it means for the whole superhero genre.
Yeah. So let's start a little bit of definition, because I don't know how you view it. For me, when I hear superhero movies in the current climate, I think DC or Marvel.
Right.
After seeing Logan, I'm willing to expand it to the X-Men thing because of what they've done with that and how they've tried to redo the whole thing.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You separate that because it's not part of the MCU.
Yeah, because those two, the MCU, DCEU, are so well thought out. Well, depending on which one you're talking about. But since there's a roadmap.
Oh, and we'll get there.
There's a roadmap, and there's an idea of an expanding universe
sure.
for two of them, whereas the others have been less coherent in the sense of world building outside of each individual movie.
Fair.
So as much as those are superhero movies, I don't view them in the same way they kind of exist out on the side for me, as opposed to the two sides of DC and Marvel.
Well, yeah, I can see that. And I see that there's those two clear lines of those it's almost like all these smartphones and shit, right? There's your iPhone and there's your Samsung and then there's all these other ones.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same thing.
It's kind of the same idea.
But I actually do when I'm thinking all these superhero movies, I am thinking about X-Men. I'm thinking about things that are not strictly part of the MCU.
See, I'm willing to bring that back now because of the way they are trying to refocus, not the same scope, but they are refocusing with although the Logan thing is done, the last two have been trying to be kind of coherent within the same story.
Sure.
And then with all of like the Days of Future Past and Apocalypse, and they're going to do X-Force and Deadpool, and that'll have some loosely tied thing there. I'm willing to bring that into the fold a little more now as opposed to maybe a couple of years ago.
Sure.
But I'm not going to count something like the now probably, hopefully dead Fantastic Four.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't deserve to be included in this conversation.
I feel like that's never going to die. They're just going to keep trying.
Well, it's the whole rights issues thing. Not to bore the audience, but like Fox, I guess, has it.
I think so.
Fox doesn't want those rights to revert back to Marvel because it's a cash cow. Even no matter how shitty the movies are, they're going to make some movie making them, right? There's some money making these movies. But that cast, and the director's never going to direct anything that matters ever again because he committed seppuku with, with his comments after the movie was made. Like,
but with the movies that stand outside the MCU and is it DCEU?
Yeah, the DC Extended Universe.
Extended Universe. It's cool though that these other things exist because it kind of, if you're familiar with comics and branching story arcs and things like that, like you're just okay with it. You're okay with things that don't tie into the main universe, and you're okay with things that go off on their own little tangent.
Well, that's something that's more like specifically with DC. If you're going to talk about like Suicide Squad.
No. The DC is trying to have a line that goes through their whole set of stories, and we'll get to those. We'll call them out. But like something like, you'll have your. I don't want to use a DC example, but in the comics, like you'll have your New 52, which was like a reboot of 52 stories, and it was like it's just it's stories you've heard in like a new imagining in different ways that go along. Okay, sorry about that. I thought it was muted. I'm afraid to mute this.
Oh yeah, well don't do that.
Yeah. Anyway, stories that branch off and go into like different arcs. Like that's like if you read comics, you're into that. You're used to it. Like you could just pick something up and kind of read like a short 3-4 issue thing that just goes on its own little story and be okay with that. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I take those movies that are outside of the main timeline of.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about specifically within the DC universe.
Oh no.
Okay.
No. Just comics in general and movies now going forward. But without further ado, how would you like to break this down?
Well,
there goes the fan.
Doesn't matter what room we're in, we can't escape.
I think it must be mine on the table with the mic.
That would make sense. So what do you mean by how do you want to break it down to start with?
Shall we take a walk through the current MCU?
Yeah, let's take a look at what we most recently saw from them and what's to come in the immediate future. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, you have, like, the multi-parts of Infinity War, but they, like, just started shooting those, so that's not really on the map right now.
All right, before we even dive into the actual list of movies there.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the fact that it is planned so far out?
I mean, for one, if they want this to be coherent... Mm-hmm. Having a plan is usually good.
Sure.
Because that's...
What about having... I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
There's release dates tied to movies that are untitled.
They're not alone in doing that. All these big studios do stuff like that. They book these release dates years ahead of time, even when they don't even know what movie they're going to make yet. But it's like, we're going to have a movie that comes out then.
Clearly, I'm looking right now. The 1st of May, 2020. 10th of July, 2020. 6th of November, 2020. All untitled.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, and it's not even just superhero movies. Other movies, too. Like, they just book a date. And it's like, we're going to make a movie and it'll come out that day.
Yeah, but...
And they move them around anyway. We've already seen them do a little bit of maneuvering where they'll flip around. Like, you'll see Disney will take, not just Marvel, one level up. Disney will say, okay, for instance, Thor Ragnarok's not going to be ready on whatever day it's supposed to be out. We're going to push back 3 months to the date we have then. We have a movie that's going to be out then. But, we can get it done faster. Let's just move it up here.
Right. Well, and I think that's great. I think that's awesome, and you have to do that.
That's master planning. It's playing chess instead of checkers.
Yeah, that is just how you play. That's just how you do this right. My fear is that, I think it's just proven that the folks at DC are not doing that. Or, whoever's really running all the movie studios there all together.
Right now, Warner is a stormtrooper.
Right.
Because they just keep shooting and missing.
Right, and it's just like, well, I don't think they have no intention of pivoting if something's not ready. I feel like Suicide Squad was an example of that.
Yep.
It's just like I feel like they probably had something, they had a good idea. I remember like seeing original trailers being like interested, and then seeing a second trailer and be like, ah, shit.
That whole organization's rotting from the top down, or from the core out, if you want. Like, pick your use of metaphor. Like,
it's horrible.
Well, but it's true. Like,
either way, it smells to me.
That's
what
I'm saying. I think the stormtrooper thing is right, because have they hit on anything yet?
Right.
Nothing they've done has been a success yet. That's 2 Superman. Well, we'll call it 1.5 Superman movies and Suicide Squad.
Right.
The benchmark, the highest mark is adequate.
Right.
Man of Steel was adequate. And the other 2 movies were bad or very bad.
Yeah. Man of Steel. I'm gonna bring this up time and time again. Could have been a better movie if Michael Shannon wasn't in it. I cannot stand him. I know you like him. No. I cannot stand him.
I just thought he was fine. Like, he was okay. I don't have a problem with him like you do. But pick your actor who you think would have been the perfect. Just cut him out and like just reshoot the whole thing.
Movie's still okay.
With what's his name? The original Zod in the original movie. It's still not a good movie. It might be better. He was a great Zod, but it's not good.
Yeah. A lot of it just falls flat.
Yeah. Well, flat's a great word for it.
It's very upsetting. Yeah, that whole movie is just like,
yes.
Like, yeah.
from the music, the writing, the direction, to the literal colors are drab and bland.
Yeah.
The coloration of the movie is drab and bland, other than when he's shooting his laser eyes.
It really sucks because we had these 3, in my opinion, incredible Batman movies that came out before all of this crap.
Yeah, that aren't part of this universe at all.
And
which the worst of those is still quite good.
Yeah. Apparently a lot of people will disagree with that.
The Dark Knight Rises is quite good.
I love it.
It's better than Man of Steel.
Fact.
By any medical objective.
Yeah.
Even if you want to say it missed the mark or it wasn't that good, comparatively, it's The Godfather.
So is Lego Batman.
Which is saying something terrible, but it's saying something.
Yeah. No, I mean, not to knock Lego Batman, but yeah. Better than...
No, not to knock it at all. It's the fact that shouldn't be in the same conversation, and it's better.
Right. But yeah, so you go from these 3, like, just the supercraft of movies. Like, they're just unreal in my... Like, I just love them. I also, like...
It's the true bridging. It's like, like, if you hear, like, the movie insiders, like, oh, superhero movies can't be art. Those movies are art. Yeah,
well, also, it's Christopher Nolan who... I'll always have a soft spot for him, and even when like he does a movie like Insomnia, which in my mind is a miss, everybody gets one. You know what I'm saying?
I never saw that one actually.
Yeah, that's all right. That's what I'm getting at. But
I guess I've seen.
You go from that, and then you get Man of Steel, and it's like you get that. What really sucks for me on that is you get that produced by. And you like, okay, maybe this guy's giving his seal of approval on it.
It was produced by in the same way that the Christmas special was produced by George Lucas.
Right. It's just very upsetting. And from there, it's like, because like I go in there like, okay, if he's backing this, like I feel like it's got to be good. And then it's like, oh, and like as we discussed, flat. And then Batman v Superman came out, and there are parts of that movie that I really enjoy. Although that you don't like.
I haven't seen the extended.
Well, that's an interesting thing which we should definitely get into. But I like the Batfleck.
Yeah, I mean, well,
I think that he's great.
He was fine. He was far better than my worst fears.
Yeah.
So I still wouldn't say that I liked him in the role per se, but he wasn't offensive to me in the way that I was afraid he was going to be.
And he that was the only. I feel like that was
of all the
what
things
made
that were
me
wrong
actually
in that,
enjoy the movie.
Of all the things that were wrong in that movie, he's probably not in the top 10. Which,
sure.
And to be fair to him, like I'm trying to go back and be fair. In the last 10 years, Ben Affleck is not the offense to my eyes and ears that he was in the 10 years prior.
I'm turning you around.
No, you're not turning around. He is.
Yes.
But it's gone from...
I got you, Ben.
One of my least favorite actors of all time to he exists.
Fair. I'll take it.
Right? Like, I'm trying to be fair about it, but like anything prior to 2005...
Planted the seed, though. He's in there now. You're going to see him.
Well, it's taken 10 movies of his to start changing my opinion. Because the 10 before that sucked. Or he sucked in them.
Persistent. That's what he is.
Sure.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed his portrayal of.
Well, enjoy it while you can, because now he's running away from it.
Yeah, which, you know what?
I don't blame him.
I don't. So
he's up to his eyes.
Off of that, let's take a look at this now. So we have this DCEU, and we have first movie in this set is Man of Steel.
Yes.
Then followed up by Batman v Superman.
Yes.
Followed up by Suicide Squad.
Train wreck of cars filled with shit.
Just real trash.
Yes.
And then now we have the Wonder Woman movie coming out.
Yes, that comes out in
And I feel like every time one of these things comes up, I'm like, God, I hope you turn this ship around.
Well, I can't get excited for it. Like, I had been wanting to get excited for it because I liked her. She was one of the few good parts of Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
They didn't give her enough to do.
Right.
They had given her more, it would have been a less shitty movie.
They also, and we're going to talk about doubling down on a couple of things that they've done here. One of the things that they did, it's a silly thing maybe to just to get hung up on, but that music that they play for her doesn't fit for me.
I can't picture it.
There's just like this music that just like when they gets into
what is this, Kill Bill? When
yeah,
they're looking at each other across
like
the thing?
they played it in Batman v Superman when you didn't see it, but she drops down and blocks Doomsday from toasting Batman.
This was in the extended one?
No, this is in the regular one.
No, I saw the movie.
Oh, so
I just didn't see the director.
So she drops down and they play that like intense like boom, 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 and it's almost as if it's supposed to sound like tribal and like maybe try to get that like Amazonian feel to it.
Yeah.
But
What happened there?
It doesn't. I don't know. I couldn't get it out.
You had a mini stroke in
Yeah,
Edison.
but anyway, it's like they're trying to get like that feel in it, but it's got too much rock music behind it, and it just doesn't work for me. And every time I hear it, it just takes me out of the experience altogether.
Okay. It's one of those immersion breakers. Like...
Yeah, so then the Wonder Woman trailer comes out, and I'm like, okay, all right, okay. And then they do that, and something happens, and I'm like, no, damn it.
Well, I want to get excited. But I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to let them disappoint me.
Right.
I'm going to go in with no expectations until they make a movie that's good, and then I'll reassess. Because I like the idea of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it is interesting. To do a little teaser for what we're going to talk about later. It's a dramatically different feel from what the other DC movies have been so far. Setting it in World War I, as opposed to in the current.
Right.
You know what I mean? Although it looks like they might do a little bit of flashback, flash forward.
Seems that way.
Which it can work. I'm not going to judge that. Depends on how they do it. Yeah. But I like her. I like Chris Pine. I'm not sure who else is in. It looks like it's mostly not as well known people in this movie.
Yeah, maybe. Nobody's. I can't think of anything like.
I've only seen the one like full trailer that they've done so far.
Let's pull up the list, shall we?
Yeah.
Get a little Gal Gadot.
I don't.
Robin Wright is in it.
Oh yeah. Is her name Gal Gadot?
Is that not how you say it?
I've never heard her name
said out loud.
So I'm not going to say you're wrong, but in my mind, I've been hearing it as like Godot.
I mean, that's probably more accurate than what I just did.
But again, I've never heard it said out loud, so could be wrong.
I'm just going to read the letters that are there.
Fair.
Got it. Godot.
Did not know. I did not know she was Israeli.
No other folks are standing out to me other than Robin Wright at the moment.
And I didn't realize. Oh, David Thewlis is in it too, and Connie Nielsen. No, there's a bunch of people who like kind of matter in this. Danny Houston.
Sorry, other people in it.
Ewan Bremer.
Al's a jerk.
No. These are all like C-listers.
Damn.
Connie Nielsen was from Gladiator.
Oh God! So I have this open. This is really. You know what really grinds my gears?
David Thewlis from Harry Potter.
I've got this open on IMDb. I've got the new Wonder Woman movie, and on the right it says related lists from IMDb, and like the movies that are popping up in there, it's like Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, and then Batman Begins. I'm like, don't put him in there.
I have Dark Knight Rises.
That's upsetting. That's upsetting. But anyway, so I forgot why we got off on this tangent and got in here.
Oh, we were just talking about who else was in this movie. Yeah, because I'm just trying to think from like but really just Chris Pine who jumped out in the trailer or whatever.
So we go from this to that comes out sometime later this year.
It's May, I think.
May, and then June, July is Justice League.
I think it's July.
Okay, so
I was wrong. Sorry, very beginning of June is Wonder Woman.
Here's my problem with that. With Justice League, and you have the same problem, I believe. These characters are not well established.
Well, I guess this is an effort towards establishing.
Yeah, but
the only other character that's well established is quote unquote dead, Superman.
Well, I mean, I think he's so clearly not dead by the end of that movie.
Well, probably, but I think they're going to spend a decent amount of time in this movie with him not on screen.
Oh, and if you think that's a spoiler, it's not.
It's not.
That's a quick synopsis of don't go see it. They're going to fight. They're going to remember. They're going to find out their mother's names are the same.
Just go find just go find someone who did like a supercut that's like a 15, 20-minute version of the movie. Like, these are the scenes that you should have seen. You'll get all that you needed to out of this.
Right, but so here's the problem. I don't know.
Maybe sip on some piss and you'll kind of get the idea.
Who's directing Justice League?
So Zack Snyder.
Okay, so
and it's November.
Okay, I feel like that got pushed back. Did that get pushed back?
I think it used to be in the summer, but they must have pushed it a while back though.
So it's November.
November 17th is the current date that's listed on IMDb.
So we can see that, and then if it's trash, we can be immediately brought back to life by Star Wars.
Yeah, we only have 1 month to turn around.
Yeah. But you had Avengers that was directed by Joss Whedon, and that movie it's a guy that can really give everybody a story in enough time. Like, that ensemble cast worked.
Yeah, well, there's not a single of the main characters in that movie that I felt that the director actively hated, so that's a step up above Zack Snyder already.
Interesting.
You can't tell me that there wasn't like this little bit of like Zack Snyder probably hates the character Superman, the way he treated him specifically in Justice League, but across both movies.
Right.
Like, the guy's name, it's not a Batman movie, it's not a Justice League movie, it's a Superman movie with Batman. Because it's directed by the Superman director.
I still feel like it's the other way around.
But it's not supposed to be. The first and last thing we see on screen is Superman.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah.
But he clearly likes Batman more than he likes Superman.
Right.
But maybe Henry Cavill pissed him off. I don't know.
But like maybe
he doesn't like him.
That's the thing, though. It's like he had a hard enough time with two big characters, I feel like, and then all these
ostensibly
characters,
we were supposed to have Wonder Woman in the movie, and she feels like she's pushed to the side most of it.
Right. And then you have like those weird glimpses. Well, see, they were rushing these other character glimpses because they were afraid that people were going to be disconnected from the Justice League movie when it came out, which, I mean, you failed.
Jesse Eisenberg had substantially more to do on screen than Superman did in that movie.
Yeah. I feel like Jesse Eisenberg actually went insane.
Well, I can't blame him.
Because it was just such a rough time.
I couldn't blame him if he did go a little nuts from doing that movie. And like, people complained a lot about him, and this is something... Yeah, that was just too much. But that's the thing, like, people... It took me a few months after it came out to actually see the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I briefly mentioned it to you way back before we actually started recording any of our episodes, because we were trying to get on board with some of the stuff we wanted to really highlight as we started off Flix and a Six. And obviously you're a big comic book hero, like, movie fan. I am too.
Mm-hmm.
And people complained a ton about Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal of Alex Luthor, I guess it was. Because he's not really Lex, but he's kind of Lex.
What do you mean he's not really Lex?
Well, like, he's not Lex Luthor. He's like Lex Luthor's son, maybe, probably.
No, he's Lex Luthor.
Is he, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. It's not a...
well, there was a lot of debate even after the movie came out, like, what he actually was. But regardless, that's not what I want to get caught up on. The point I wanted to make was...
he was Lex Luthor.
He was Lex Luthor, fine. The point I wanted to make was... After watching the movie, I don't have a problem with Jesse Eisenberg. I think he played the character they told him to play.
Yeah.
So...
I like Jesse Eisenberg.
So do I. I think he's fine as an actor. He's good to very good, depending on what role you're talking about. But I don't think that the failing of that character... Like, people want to complain about Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. Hayden Christensen's not a good actor. Anakin was an annoying character, but he was an annoying character portrayed annoyingly by a bad actor.
Sure.
I think Lex Luthor was a bad character portrayed annoyingly by a good actor.
Which is funny is I didn't have a problem with the Lex Luthor character in that movie.
I didn't have a problem with most of it. There were certain scenes, the ding thing was ridiculously over the top.
That makes a lot more sense if you see the director's cut.
No, I know what he's referencing. I know what it is, but he didn't have to say ding 20 times.
Yeah, I know, but he was like really losing.
He could have said it 5.
But he was really losing it at that point.
Fine, but
and this is another problem though, and it's studio meddling, which well, let's dive in. That movie it goes from just a Batman vs Superman is to decent if you watch the director's cut,
okay,
or extended cut. I don't know.
I want to say it was directed by who
but like there's like significant chunks of that movie that revolve around story that are just tossed out the window in the theatrical version, and it's like honestly, toss out the goddamn Doomsday fight because that sucked. You know what I mean? And the rest of the movie, like the actual story that they cut out was. I liked the things that were going on in there. Like they were darker and deeper things that were happening, and it's just I was just why did that happen?
Who's to say?
And then
this
is gonna be a thing. And it's like people like when it came out, people were like, oh, like watch the extended cut. It's gonna be better. It's like there's a cool story. No,
why is that a thing though?
Why? Yeah, like why isn't that not in the theater? I want to see it the first time I see it. I don't.
Yeah.
You don't get no second chance here with the same movie. Just so frustrated by that.
Yeah, although if you want to talk about like a similar situation to a certain extent, I don't remember how it all played out because it was before I was born. But Blade Runner,
yeah,
but that's a standalone, a really good movie. But people like the director's cut more.
Right.
This is a bad movie that people needed the director's cut of to
like
enjoy and like, right? Like that's not okay. Like that's what we should see on screen then.
Exactly.
Or you shouldn't have made the fucking movie to begin with.
Right. Well, and that's where that studio meddling comes in.
Yeah.
Right. Or we assume that's the case here. And
yes and no. I think a lot of the failings though fall on Zack Snyder's shoulders.
Sure.
I think that he's way out of his depth with this series of movies.
Yeah.
300's a really good movie.
Yeah.
He should have. He's not in his wheelhouse anymore, and he's proven to not be equal to the task so far.
Yeah, I agree. And then you have, but like then there's a movie like Suicide Squad which is as we continue down this journey is the next one that comes up, and it's just what?
It's just shit on top of more shit.
It's just craziness, and like you hear things like like that movie died on the cutting room floor, and like you read these articles of like how. Like, it's just a completely different movie from what they wanted it to be when it started. And it's like
3 different movies that they cluster fucked into one. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you hear that they cut out 20 or 30 minutes of content that had the Joker. That's half of a movie.
Right.
Nearly. A quarter of a movie. It's a long movie to begin with, and you cut half an hour of stuff that you were promoting the shit out of that in the 2 years lead up to the movie coming out.
Which is a character that I would like to have known a little bit more about.
And he's in 2 scenes that mattered.
Yeah. It's really ugh.
Although, have you heard there might be some sort of reconciliation going on?
In what way?
Just heard it the other day. There was some story of I don't remember if it was Zack Snyder or someone was supposedly seen talking to Jared Leto.
Oh no!
That basically like they're trying to bring, or it might have been Matt Vaughn. Is he the one who's taking over the Batman?
Or
Sullivan. That's
it's hard to follow.
I think it's Matt Sullivan, the guy who they just have to take over the Batman. It was either him or Zack Snyder. One of them was seen talking to Jared Leto recently at some event. Okay. And people are saying they're trying to bring him back in the fold. Like, you're not going to have to deal with the Suicide Squad bullshit anymore. Like, we want to bring you up to the big leagues. Yeah. Type of deal.
Because, which is funny, because, like, I didn't love his portrayal of the character. I didn't hate it. But I really did feel like it was not, I didn't think it was him.
No.
Per se.
He's proven himself to be a pretty good actor.
Yeah, I like him.
Weirdly, and we talked about him a little bit in previous episodes. Yeah. Specifically with Mr. Nobody. Like, he was really good in that. He won an Oscar. I didn't see the movie, but he won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club.
Excellent in that.
His bit roles, I've seen him in other movies. He's performed well enough. Mm-hmm. But his Joker was interesting. It was
different.
It was very different, which is fine because they needed to find a way to differentiate.
I love that though, because you cannot do.
He wasn't going to be able to redo Ledger, right? And, I mean, maybe he could have redone Nicholson, but why would you want?
Why? Yeah, it's got to be unique.
Have him do something different. Like, they all should have similarities, but have him do his own version of it. I don't mind if we want to do this super modernized version of this character. Let him do something that's a quote unquote modern gangster, right? Like, so like that's what he's doing. I was okay with it. There was parts of it I liked. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to go. I can't say I'm gonna go back and watch the movie again, but I have to go and rewatch him in the movie. Like maybe just find clips of him online just to like get a better feel for it because I saw the movie once. But I'm open to the idea of more of him. under better direction and writing. Although, again, thus far we haven't seen that in this series so far.
It was because it was like this interesting, like it was more driven by passion than the chaos that the Joker is usually attuned to. I was like, I want to see a little bit more of that, and then make a decision. Yeah, he
wasn't. Well, I guess the Ledger Joker says he's not a planner, and but he has a plan.
Yeah.
Whereas he's
much part of the plan.
Yes. Whereas this Joker was much more emotional, impulsive, right? Mm-hmm. Like where he murders the shit out of him when he's talking about, Harley.
Right.
Like, so that was common, right? That was the guy he killed.
So, so the Justice League movie that's coming out, and this is where there's another double down that's bothering me. This is the same thing that happened with the Suicide Squad trailers. Up front, like I said, the first one, like the first teaser or whatever came out, I was like, okay, I'm excited because I like these characters. Like I'm excited to see what happens. And then the second trailer comes out, and I'm like, this doesn't sound right. And like, the tone changes entirely.
Yeah, I was after seeing the first real trailer, I kind of felt like I walked away feeling a bit just confused. Mm-hmm. Right? Like what are you selling me on?
Right.
Other than that they're all teaming up. Like, I don't know what they're trying to sell. I think it was smart that they mostly avoided anything having to do with Superman. I hope they stick to that. Because he's coming back, but
sure.
I don't want to know how or why.
Right.
So I think that was a smart play for once. But yeah, like the thing I just felt was like, I was just confused. Like, are we going to look at the strife of getting the team together because there was a little bit of tension, but then it was, we're all doing cool things together, and it's maybe we're pairing off into mini teams, and and then there's the villain or not the villain, and what I'm just confused.
Your villain in the movie of villains.
Like I don't know what they're going for.
Right.
I don't know what they're selling us on other than we're teaming up.
Right. But okay, so. Follow me on this journey though. So they do that. There's the trailer early on where I was just like, I love teasers. I love teaser trailers, and honestly, I think I would prefer.
The teaser was cool. That was the first one they showed him meeting the Flash was pretty substantial, right? And it was like it was just a little bit like him going to the fishing village and.
No, that's the Justice League one. I'm referring to the Suicide Squad trailer.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I am gonna get to that in a second. But like, it's like it starts off. I'm like, I just need a teaser because the teaser gets me excited for the movie. I don't actually want to know too much about it because, as I mentioned in previous episodes, they've really been screwing up trailers lately where you see the whole movie.
Oh,
and I don't.
You don't even start on the Spider-Man one.
Yeah.
Bad.
So then we get the teaser of the Justice League movie, and there's, like you said, he's meeting the individual people. I'm like, that's cool. Like that's it. That's really all you need. It's like he's putting the team together. You're getting a little glimpse of what they're going to be like. For me, that's all it needs to be. And I understand like there's marketing plans and all that shit. And you have to get trailers out, and you have to get people hyped up, and just slow it down because you had something good going.
See, that's the thing though. Like that first teaser felt coherent.
Yeah, and then the second one.
Okay, like I get where we're going here. I have no idea where they're going with the second.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, you know what? Let's throw another song in and make it really loud. That's what we're gonna do. Let's get everybody jazzed up and make them feel like they're really excited. They have no idea why. Yeah, and then we're gonna release this movie and everybody's gonna go, oh. But we have their money now, so who cares?
Well, yeah, I mean that is the end game.
That's upsetting. But that's what I meant by the doubling down. Like they're doing like that same thing where they're like, okay, now introduce the second trailer that is just chaos and a loud song.
Yeah,
like that's all it is. That was super frustrating. I'm excited to see a little bit of the Flash. I want to see what they do with him.
Yeah.
But I'm also terrified.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I can't get excited for it because there's a 100% chance I get let down.
Right.
Even if the movie's okay, I'm going to be let down.
Yeah.
If I get excited for it.
So, okay, so now, I'm just going to rattle off what's coming after that. So we have, it's the Wonder Woman movie that's coming out, then Justice League, then The Flash.
Is that still on for next year?
2018.
Because that one went through a bunch of shit with its directors and stuff, too. They had like 4 different directors.
Well, as far as this list is concerned, yeah. It's going to be Flash, Aquaman, Shazam, Justice League Part 2, Cyborg, Green Lantern, Batman.
Actually, of all of those movies that you just listed, the only one that hasn't had some sort of fuckery going on in the whole production of it is Aquaman.
Yeah.
It's the only one that's had smooth production, from what I've heard.
They just decided.
And like the actors are on board. Like the actors are on. Like the actors are on board. Like I'm interested by the cast.
Come near the water. That Family Guy.
Yeah, he throws a starfish at him. I hope you don't like starfish. Oh, if you were doing that over here. Oh, if you were doing that right over here.
He'd be so dead.
No, but like the actors all seem on board. Like that, they have had the same director from start to finish of the project. From as far as I can tell, no one's gotten fired or walked away in anger. So like, it's the only one that hasn't had some sort of bullshit going on with its whole production.
Right. Yet.
There's
years. Don't worry. Things will happen. It's supposed to come out, when did I say? 2018. Okay. It says. So I'm going to guess tail end of 2018.
18 months from now.
They'll probably rewrite it in like September of 2018.
But
and then it'll come out in December.
Stick with the same release schedule, though.
Clowns.
Okay, so this is depressing me too much. I'm ready to move past DC and it's bullshit.
But my curiosity there, though, the Batman movie, that's the untitled Batman movie, comes out
it
comes out way too late.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I mean, unless they know that they're not going to live up. Maybe they've decided they won't live up to.
They're just trying to put as much distance between it. No, but the thing is, like you were saying, like not having characters that are well defined. Mm-hmm. He's the only one that's been somewhat established now at this point. So why not give us that movie now?
Right. Because it also sounds like what they're going to do is they're going to go...
Especially since Justice League's coming out before all the other ones that all those people are in.
What? Yeah, what?
Like, everything that they've done from the first day that they decided we're doing a connected universe has been ass backwards.
Right.
Every fucking move that they've made. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, you know, it's funny.
We didn't get an Avengers movie until every single one of those characters had their own standalone movie, minus the two people who don't matter.
Sometimes more.
Jeremy Renner. Every one of them had one. Some of them had two.
Right. On to the MCU.
Before we get to the MCU,
oh god,
since I brought no, done with DC, but it was a good pivot point here. We were talking about the trailers. The first Spider-Man: Homecoming trailer, I was interested. They did the thing that pisses you off the most with this newest one. They're giving us the big action, like the thing you complaining about with the Fast and Furious.
Really cool, crazy scenes.
Oh, I was really excited by the first trailer where they're showing him pulling the fucking the boat together, the ferry together, and now we see that Iron Man's pushing on the other trailer. Oh, why am I going to see the movie?
Yeah.
So you giving me that? You give me the thing where he's fighting the vulture. There was one where they gave us a quick little splash of it the first time, and now they give us like a big chunk of that.
Yeah.
Why am I going to go buy seeing the movie? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. It's trailers, man.
Now that I've gotten angry, let's talk about all the things that are wrong with DC. Let's talk about how Marvel's gotten basically every one of those right.
All right. And I stand by that has a lot to do with Disney.
Oh yeah, Disney's been,
at
just about every point has been more competent than Warner at everything.
Yeah.
At everything.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's really like the Marvel. I'm all for it. Anytime a Marvel movie is coming out, I'm like,
there hasn't been a single one since like Iron Man 2 that I haven't been super excited to go and see.
For me, it was Doctor Strange. I wasn't thrilled to see, but I was thrilled of the concept of it being a Marvel movie's coming out, so I know I'm gonna have a good time.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. No, what I'm saying is like Iron Man 2 was still at a point where we were still getting our feet wet.
Sure.
Everything since then, like I've been all in with, okay, there's a Marvel movie coming out, let me go see it. Doctor Strange was no different. Even though I didn't get to see it right when it came out, I saw it a few weeks ago finally.
Which was great.
It was really good.
I thoroughly enjoyed
But I didn't not see it because of some protest. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters when I wanted to.
Right. But so upcoming in the MCU.
Yeah, so Guardians is up next, right? That's in a month or so?
Yeah. It's May 5th.
May 5th? Okay.
Yeah.
So excited for that. The first one was so good.
I cannot wait.
See, that was a movie, the first one, when it was coming out, that I was afraid it was going to suffer the same fate as Suicide Squad. Yeah. But everyone involved with it is just better at their jobs. So,
yeah, like that movie, I didn't know what to expect, because I don't know, I never really followed those stories. I never really got into
no one did. That was the point. That was why it was so bold, and that was why the move worked, because they needed to go outside the box of just what we know. Yeah. So, but it was a similar idea. Lesser known property. It's a team up movie, but not of the same type as Justice League Avengers. Some unknowns with the production, this and that. Actually, James Gunn at that time, he hadn't really been known for anything, had he?
No, let's see.
Like, I mean, it was not that it was his first movie, but I don't think he was particularly well known at the time.
And then, but
he's only got 12 directing credits. I'm looking at it now.
But then you go into
Slither. Slither was the only thing that he did that anyone knew. And
Scooby-Doo. Writer.
Well, no, I'm talking about directing now. No, he has a bunch of writing credits, but what I'm saying is this is the second real life, like, this is the second real movie that mattered that people knew about that he directed, right?
Yeah, it's what, oh my god. Movie 4030.
But he just did one segment.
Yeah. That movie sucked.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is only like the second full feature that he directed.
That's what it looks like.
So it's functionally similar to the Suicide Squad in the lead up to it, right?
Yeah.
Team up, lesser known property, lesser known production staff, director, still a nobody.
Yeah.
And it got everything right. And it was even the whole stylized thing, right? We're centering a big thing about it around music.
Yeah.
It's big. It's present in the trailer. It's present in the movie.
Right.
And they got every word of it right where Suicide Squad got wrong.
Well, it's like, so it what's really funny, you go into Suicide Squad and 10 minutes into that movie, you go,
oh god.
You go, oh no. Oh my dear. I sense
a disturbance in this movie.
10 minutes into the Guardians of the Galaxy, you're like, oh my god, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen.
Hyperbole. Yeah, no, this was really good.
Like, that music starts kicking in the movie, and it's like, the movie is not irrelevant. I mean, the music is not irrelevant. It's like, there's a context for it.
Yes.
And it's great.
Yes.
And it's, oh man.
Yeah, it was great song choice that matched up well with what's going on. It was cohesive for the whole point of him having the mixtape and everything like that. Like, and there was a cool little bit of backstory to why the music should matter in it and everything like that. Like,
so good.
Hey, that's my Walkman. Like,
it's just funny. The characters are charming. Like, it's just
the writing was strong. I mean, if anything, the only thing it's the situation that's been endemic to the whole one small failing Marvel's. The villains being a little bit on the weaker side. Yeah. I didn't have a problem with the villain in this one. And I like Lee Pace, and I thought he did a good job with him. I just didn't think they gave him enough screen time. That would really be my only complaint about him.
Yeah, I wasn't super... when he was on the screen, I was just kind of like, eh. So.
I don't know. The one scene, like, at the end of the movie, when he starts dancing and just looking at him.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's great in that.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And he just keeps going, what are you doing?
It's off, bro. You and me. Oh my god, but it's so good. I cannot wait.
But at least he had a good physical presence, you know what I mean? Like he was intimidating. Like, you paid attention when he got angry, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
My biggest problem with him was just the lack of him. Like, doing stuff in the movie.
But, okay, so here's a potential issue, though. The bar is real high.
But I think he's up to the task. I think he's proven it so far. Like,
yeah. So but the bar is unfairly high.
But you know what is just like, it's money in the bank for them with this movie is the chemistry of like the core squad. It's so good.
Yeah.
Those actors work so well together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's a trailer that is so good. That Guardians.
I know you love that thing with Drax.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
It's
and
funny.
That's all you need. You're like, oh right, we're getting this again.
Yes.
More of the same. I'm okay with it.
Yes. And we get more of him too. And you can already see there's a little bit of progression from one movie to the other.
Yeah.
Where like he gets the idea of jokes a bit now.
Yeah.
Like, even though he's still super blunt and like doesn't like 100% get it, like the whole thing, you know. You just said your worst fear. You must be so embarrassed.
It's a secret. It's so good. And then, of course, I was actually
plus we get more worried. Michael Rooker. He's joining the team.
Yep.
Yondu.
Yep. Love him.
Big fan.
I was actually a little worried about Baby Groot going in, and then when I saw the trailer, I was not anymore.
What? I am Groot.
Yeah.
No! That him screaming the high-pitched thing, and the guy getting scared of him, he's like this tall.
Bradley Cooper's voice acting is fantastic.
Yes.
In those movies. Well, it will be in those movies, as of right now, in that movie.
That movie and the bit of him we've seen in the trailer so far.
It's so funny because like his whole mannerisms are captured in the voice of this record.
Yes.
And I love every second.
You can totally see him. You can totally see Bradley Cooper like from The Hangover rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
The way that that Rocket's rolling his eyes. Like,
it's so good. I can't wait. I mean, obviously, we'll definitely do probably an extended episode on that one.
Oh yeah, no, we should definitely get together for that one. Do a midnight show. That one.
Yeah, maybe pre-game it with the first.
Yeah. Well, it'd be cool. What could be cool is to do a midnight show and record right after it. Be fucking exhausted, but
yeah, loopy and drinking and Guardians. I like it.
And then you guys
like
will
it.
get treated in the weeks after that to a hungover episode of us. So we got that one's up first, and then I think Thor Ragnarok's the next one.
Homecoming is actually next.
So I'm not sure how to treat that one. I forgot that's coming up next, but it's MCU adjacent?
No.
So it's part of it to the extent that he was in Civil War and Iron Man is going to be in it. But did you hear this week they said that they may be pulling Spider-Man out after the Infinity War movies?
I didn't hear
the contract, yeah. So there was something that during one of these conventions that's been going on.
There's just chaos happening above us.
I'm trying to ignore the cats.
Oh yeah.
So
imagine we're in a bar.
Yeah, this is breaking the immersion of the whole core concept of this show being you overhearing us in the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cats running around, or maybe it's people who live upstairs above the bar running around.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
No, so they have a contract to use Spider-Man. Spider-Man is is available and will be used in Marvel properties, Marvel Cinematic Universe, up to 2019. So that covers the Infinity Wars movies.
Yeah.
And
another Avengers movie, unless it's an
what I'm saying is he's fair game for anything in that time block, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
But they gave a press conference this week, and they were saying how excited came alongside the new trailer coming out, and they were saying how excited they were about this partnership. The partnership was historic between Sony and Marvel that had never been done before, and we may never see it again after 2019, or we may never see its like again after 2019. So it's very feasible on the table that they could pull out if they can use Marvel like the core that they're trying to use them as, and get they can build up this property where people are fully ready to be just Spider-Man, and they actually get it right this time. They could fully walk away from this deal.
Yeah.
So at that point, he would cease to exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's the point I was trying to make.
Which maybe they can kill him off.
Maybe. And
honestly, maybe they'll do that at some point, and they'll go dark for something.
It could be. That was a thing, right, in one of the Civil Wars in the comics. Maybe not dead, but near death. Punisher walks in with Spider-Man dead or on the brink of death during Civil War. He was killed or almost killed by one of the factions. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend to know the history there. So.
I just saw something about it in the past couple of months. So I think it was in the recent one, Civil War 2, that's been ongoing recently in the comics.
Yeah.
So I guess him and Frank Castle both being street level New York City guys.
Sure.
But yeah, so whether or not they kill him off or not, because I don't think Sony will kill him off. But for the purposes of the MCU, maybe they do.
Right.
Or it's one of those he goes into hiding. Or,
yeah, could be.
I don't know.
Anything. Honestly, we'll see what happens. But the way that it's scheduled out now...
But I guess we should consider it as part of the MCU. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. As of right now, it is 100%.
It is. It's just on the table that they seem ready and willing to pull out of this deal.
Well, there's at least probably 4 movies that he's going to be involved in.
Total or going forward?
As of right now. Going forward. Homecoming... Infinity War. I'm assuming Infinity War Part 2, which is the year after that.
Yeah.
And then Homecoming 2.
Is that still within that?
It's after that.
But it's still within that time period?
It is the 5th of July, 2019 is the projected date.
Okay, so I don't know if that falls before or after. But it's close enough, whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's listed.
So minimum 3. No, meaning within the confines of the deal is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's interesting to see how that stuff works out. But the problem here... Well, a potential problem. There's character after character after character is being introduced. Tons of characters are being introduced. The MCU.
Marvel in general. Okay.
Yeah, and it's just I feel like it's going to start to get to be too much. It already started to feel a little bit like that with Civil War, though I thought Civil War was a great movie.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
It was starting to feel that way. Civil War also was Avengers 3.
Yes.
It was not a Captain America movie.
Yes, in the same way.
Weird marketing there,
in the same way that Batman vs Superman isn't a Superman movie, it's a Justice League movie.
Right.
This was.
It's exactly Well, I'm very curious. I'm curious why it was branded that way. Captain America, Civil War.
Because it was tonally similar to Winter Soldier.
And I'm wondering if you think about it, to get that storyline to make sense,
Yes.
You need to watch the other two Captain America movies.
And
But you don't necessarily need to see any of the other movies.
No.
You could actually be okay with those 3 standalone. So I guess that works.
I would say you needed to see the 2 Avengers movies and Winter Soldier to watch Civil War.
Yeah. You don't actually need to see the Avengers.
I mean, technically
if you
not,
want to
but
just take it with a grain of salt.
Well, fine, but there is something to be said for why do I care if these guys are fighting each other?
Right.
And you need to see them coming together and being a real team in the Avengers to care. Like that line, we used to be friends too. You said, I had to help my friend. He goes, we were friends too. And I remember I called such bullshit when that came out, right? Like, when were they ever friends? Like, when did we establish this? But the point is, like, to be able to suspend disbelief in any way, shape, or form, you do need the backstory of the Avengers.
Sure.
Why them being associated matters to them, then going head to head.
Right.
But yeah, I think to answer your question, the idea is it directly follows the events of Winter Soldier, and it's tonally very similar. That's why it's a Captain America.
Yeah, and those 3 movies together are a cohesive story.
And they don't cast him to the side the way they cast Superman to the side in Batman vs Superman. Even though it's so much, and you get a lot of Tony Stark.
Everybody just hates Superman.
Captain America is still fully one of the leads of that movie. So it's still a Captain America movie, even though it's totally an Avengers movie.
Right. Yeah. This is a solid flick, though. I'm a fan.
Yeah, really good. I know some people see Ultron as a bit of a misstep, and it wasn't as good as the first Avengers, but I still enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I liked it.
But I think Civil War was better than that.
Yeah. These are true statements.
I mean, I guess I would, like, if you were going to do the Civil War, not Civil War, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, rank the movies, the top 3 for me, in no particular order, but the top 3 would be Winter Soldier, Civil War, and it would be really tight between Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I'm going to go top 4 because I honestly can't pick between those 2.
Interesting. I know a lot of people are big fans of Winter Soldier.
I love that movie.
It's not up there for me.
I think it's the best of them.
Yeah, it's not up there for me.
It's so good. And we're going to talk about that more later.
Yeah. It just, that one...
That's going to be in our part 2 of this.
Yeah. So moving off of... So it's Guardians, Homecoming...
Then Thor.
Who has been dormant for a while.
Yes. Which, they have good reasons for that,
I think that's okay, because he's not the most... interesting character.
That's a thing, but
I miss him now.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, if this was run by DC and Warner, they would have fucked that up.
Yeah.
Like it works within the context of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That's how you really feel,
right? Well, no, but what I'm saying is it works. Like, there's a good story reason, planning wise. He wouldn't have fit the tone of Civil War. Mm-hmm. It's about the people who were here.
I also like that they name drop him for like half a second.
Well, because he still matters.
Yeah, it's great though. Like, it's not like we're not pretending that he's not here.
Yes.
Superman.
We didn't fake his death conveniently. He said, "No, I'm going on a big fucking journey because there's big answers that need answering."
Yeah. And
then he went away. Well, he'll be back. Same thing with Hulk. Oh, we couldn't find him.
Yeah.
Still. Because
he would have just messed everything up.
Yeah.
He was just wrecked everybody.
Because it would have been Team Cap, Team...
Mark Ruffalo.
No. Say Team Cap, Team Tony, and Hulk just doing whatever the fuck he wants.
The fence that was just... The AI that's just running around in the video game, just messing everything up. Oh, man. But I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready for another Thor movie. I'm ready for the character to come back. And
I like the first one, although, it's funny. I just heard something recently about the first one, and there was always something off to me about it, and I couldn't place what it was. It's probably because I only actually sat down and watched the whole thing start to finish one time. Like, I've seen it in bits and pieces, probably a total of like 3 times, but I've only seen it once start to finish, and someone like brought it up, and I was like, oh my god, that totally makes sense. So what happened was they ran out of money making the second half of that movie, which is why you get all these big cosmic scenes and you get some cool scenes of him on the ground. But then there's that big segment when he like sacrifices himself and then becomes Thor again, where it's just like a patch of dirt, like a couple of them fighting and like 2 cars get blown up. Like they ran out of money making that movie. And I was like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
There's just a whole section of that movie that like just doesn't fit with everything else that was going on.
Someone comes in with the book and they're like, damn.
Can we move this fight out of New York City and put it in some bumfuck town in Iowa?
So the director actually, he's like on the camera right before that scene. Imagine. And then they just show you dirt patch.
And the Eiffel Tower crashes.
So he's coming back, and I'm glad he's coming back. But there is a really silly video that was going around a while back. I think I sent it to
him and his roommate.
Him and his roommate in Florida, I think.
I don't remember.
And it is amazing. Yeah, if you get a chance to see it.
I watched it. I don't remember it that well, but I did watch it. I think you did send it.
I think it mentions like something like the Ragnarok like teaser, even though it's totally not. It's just like it's to start drawing hype again. But he's just like trying to get he has like he talks to the Hulk or he talks to Mark Ruffalo at some point, I think it is, and like he hasn't, but he won't let him talk to Tony. Like that whole thing. It's just so silly.
And actually, I kind of forgot about it until we were just talking about it now, but excellent entree into bringing him back into the fold was the post-credit stinger in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Where he's talking to him.
Yeah.
That was a great, like, oh, okay, he's back.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to hear from him again soon. Like, and considering, again, that they've actually given care and planning how this is all going to go.
Right.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
We're not just going to bring him in cold.
Who else are we going to see in this movie?
Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah.
We're getting, well, for one, the Hulk is going to be in it. Because he was also the other party who was missing in Civil War, obviously. But I think most of the affairs will be done in outer space, or whatever. Midgard or Asgard. Asgard, I guess, is what it is. And other realms like that. I think they've said we're going to see other realms that we haven't seen or heard of before. So I don't think we're going to get really any of the other Avengers or anything in this movie. I think it's just the two of them, and then all the other characters we've seen in the Thor universe, all his little lovable merry band of fighters, I guess.
Right.
Loki.
I just popped into the IMDb page for it, and the order of the casting is Tom Hiddleston for Loki.
Oh, you know what? I just saw that too.
Benedict Cumberbatch, obviously.
I forgot. That's true. They confirmed that a few months ago that Doctor Strange. I don't know how big a role he is, but he is going to be in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Ruffalo's there.
No, that's confirmed. He's going to be like it's the way it's being pitched. Kind of, I think is it's basically going to be kind of like a buddy cop movie with Thor and Hulk.
That's cool.
I think.
I like that Idris Elba's going to be in it because
he's done well as Heimdall. Like him a lot.
That's interesting if they'll bring that character in. I'm wondering if it's like
the fact that he was in Ultron, he's clearly got a big role to play still in the MCU.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like how it like falls, like if it's really relevant to see Doctor Strange, because a lot of this is too. It's like I know like there's going to be fans and there's people that are going to follow this like us who are going to watch every one of these movies that comes out.
Yeah,
but you have to imagine that there's a chunk of people that just go to see a flick.
Yeah,
and
also there's a lot of them who are like, well, I'll see the Avengers movies.
Yeah,
and then whatever other ones I just happen to see.
But it almost seems as if though this won't necessarily be. Like you'll have to see 1 and 2 to really appreciate it. Like that's how it almost. That's what I'm getting from it.
I think we do because we have to understand the kind of behind the scenes politicking and like chicanery going on by Loki with the whole.
Yeah.
Because I think the whole point of this is, I assumed maybe he murdered Odin.
Right. In
the Dark World, but he didn't, from what I'm understanding. I think the point of this one is that Thor, I think he hid Odin somewhere, and Thor is looking for him.
Okay. Oh my god, Jeff Goldblum's in it.
Yeah, he plays the Grandmaster, I think.
I love Jeff Goldblum.
I don't know what that character is. Obviously, he'll be of some importance. I like that they have like the whole group of like his merry band again, like Ray Stevenson. That guy, you can tell he has so much fun playing. Volstagg.
Yeah, I like him, and I
like him in general.
He played the Punisher in like Warzone, right?
No, Tom Jane was Punisher.
No, the one that came out after that nobody remembers.
Was it not Tom Jane again? I
never
saw either of them. I just assumed it was the same character.
It was him.
Was it him?
He played Punisher in Warzone.
I mean, the first thing I really saw him
2008.
in was in The Other Guys, and he plays the guy who's like the head of like the kind of like evil SAS. He's like ex-SAS or something like that. But also I know him from Dexter. He was one of the main adversaries in like an entire season of Dexter. Pretty solid actor. I like him.
I like him. I dig him. I liked him in the Thor movies. Pryor.
He's like fun Gimli.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Right?
I like that.
The big red beard, and he's like just walking around like swinging his axe or sword or whatever. Like but he's like just having a great time and laughing and drinking and stuff.
Oh, that's funny that like that Punisher movie that he was in, though, like that's like on the area like right before this, like all works as a cohesive set of movies. It's just like no. Let's ignore that.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
And what's his name is way better in general as Punisher.
Oh yeah,
John Bernthal, strong.
Yes. If you just gave me his real name, like, who the hell is
Shane.
that? Yeah, Shane I get.
I know.
Shane
there's a lot of people who really enjoy Shane and have no idea what his name is in real life.
I mean, but let's be serious. The best Punisher was Dolph Lundgren.
Wow.
That's not accurate.
I just saw John Bernthal pop up in, to date, the earliest chronologically role that I've ever seen him in. I watched Ghost Rider a couple weeks ago.
Huh.
No, not Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Because I realized that the way I said it might have sounded like the terrible Nicolas Cage movie.
Oh my god.
What I was talking about was not Ghost Rider, but Ghost Rider with Ewan McGregor and Pierce Brosnan. Pretty damn solid movie.
Huh. What about that Batman Punisher crossover, The Accountant? That was a good
one. He was in that. No, but Ghost Rider, he filmed that before he filmed The Walking Dead, I think. Like they came out in like the same year.
Got it. So he was flaming head on a motorcycle.
No.
But then Walking Dead.
Actually, I think this role he might have had the most hair I've ever seen him have.
Then Batman and Superman crossover. Batman Punisher crossover.
So
my mistake.
It sounds like we've kind of like gotten past the idea of this, and you want to get to the second half of what we want to talk about.
Well, yeah. Let's just take a quick look and see if I missed anything else in the. Oh, one other thing we need to touch on in there. Well, there's the Black Panther movie that's coming out in February of 2018.
Okay, I thought we were mostly just talking about 2017 stuff, but yeah.
Yeah,
I'm interested in that.
I'm just keep cruising through. I am too. As of right now,
he was interesting in Civil War.
Yeah.
I still feel like we didn't get enough of him to really sink our teeth into yet.
Right. Like it almost, that was actually it felt not, I don't know if it's like rush is not the right word, but like I feel like I should have been invested in his character and I wasn't as much as I should have been.
It's hard not to get invested in a dude who watches his father get exploded.
Well, yeah, I know, but I don't know if it seemed rushed or that we didn't have like that. There was something about the delivery of it that I didn't connect with it.
I think it's one of those things like you were saying where we're almost at the breaking point of how many characters.
And that might be it. Yeah.
So we didn't get enough to sink our teeth into, and because there was time constraints here.
That's why I am glad that like they're not like he's not just going to be like
Hawkeye.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's not just going to be like
like
this.
we're getting our own Black Panther.
Yeah,
and
I think that's cool.
Funny that we should see this, but the Black Panther movie is coming out before Infinity War.
Yes.
Instead of 10 years after.
Right. Makes a lot of sense.
Like someone thought of this ahead of time.
Yeah, it's like he's going to be in that. We should probably,
shape
him up a bit.
Explain why he matters.
And then, so after Black Panther, we get Avengers 3, Infinity War. Nothing needs to be said about that. Cannot wait.
Definitely.
I don't know how they're going to pull that off with all those characters. It's going to be great.
Yeah, because now they're finally going to jam Guardians of the Galaxy in there too.
It's going to be chaos.
Yes.
Which I'm glad. They're doing
Glorious,
a two-parter though,
glorious chaos.
which it seems necessary at this point. Maybe that's what we're actually getting.
And they decided on that pretty early on too. It was like, wow, this is going to be way too much.
They don't fit. They don't fit on screen. They're actually going to have to.
The whole runtime of the movie is just going to be us introducing everyone.
They're going to have to split up the casting like between the two movies because they can't pay all those people at once. And then Ant-Man comes out after Infinity War.
And the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. That was a pleasant surprise.
Yes, it was. We're going to talk about that in the second half of this episode too.
And then followed by Captain Marvel, which I know
that's right. I
nothing
keep forgetting about that. Because she's going to be in Infinity War.
Yeah, so they'll intro her and then they're going to reverse that. Like the Black
They still
Panther,
haven't picked a director for that though. For Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay. It's like
they still haven't.
I was like, wait a minute.
I think that they've announced. I don't think they've announced what the list is, but they've announced a short list.
Gotcha.
I think within the next couple months, they're planning on having picked the director finally.
Yeah. So it'll be.
Again, it's not like it's their fourth director.
Sick burn.
I can do this all day.
Captain Marvel.
They're the fucking worst.
Avengers.
They're the Mona Lisa Saperstein movies.
Money, please. Avengers.
Hey, even that fits.
Sequel, and then Spider-Man: Homecoming 2, and then 3 untitled movies, and then Inhuman.
See, are they actually still doing a movie because they're doing a TV show now?
No idea. It says TBA, so it might just be.
I don't think they're doing it.
Okay, that's fair.
Well, it's better than Graffer's Host.
What?
I went deep with that joke. I figured if anyone was going to get it, you would. You said TBA, and I said it's better than Graffer's Host. Arrested Development?
Yeah. Sure. I'm actually mad that I missed it.
I'm mad you missed it too.
So, all right. So as we go away from the timeline here,
we're gonna pivot to part. How many minutes has this been going on for?
I don't even want to look. I think we should just keep going.
Well, because this may have to become 2 episodes.
Nah, it's one long one. Craig it.
Great. You know what?
We're an hour and
part 2.
Oh, that's everywhere.
Good.
Chug, 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 chug.
You could have moved it closer to the microphone.
Just sounds like you're peeing. That's what that is. This is all foam. Thanks for that.
Well, you didn't tip the glass, dude.
You like to make the noise, though. That's part of your shtick.
But I can still...
Hello and welcome to Flix
I
on the Six.
have all liquid, you have all foam. Give me your glass back, too.
Like
Remix.
Dear me.
Welcome to part 2 of this still running same episode.
What are we getting into now?
So, to keep with the theme of this being all the same episode, and we're having all this superhero discussion, we're going to keep with the same brand of beer. It's another 6-point beer.
It's the same. It's the exact same beer, and you just talk about it the same way again.
So it's another 6-point beer. It's the Jammer, or Jammer if you prefer. There's no "the" in front of it. So what we have here is a sour ale that was brewed with Jacobson sea salt and coriander.
Sour.
Yeah. The mad scientists...
Was there coriander in your soy stale?
There was. No, cardamom, sorry.
Cardamom.
Wrong car.
C word. Whoa.
Well, that took a turn.
That's not the one.
The mad scientists kept tweaking that jammer till it rocked so hard. This is me reading the can off here again. The mad scientists kept tweaking that jammer till it rocked so hard. Bygone Brewers, repping the 6-point star, provided the concept, and our friends at Jacobson Salt hooked us up with the key ingredient. It's salty, it's sour, and it's slamming. It's mad science.
Shall we?
We shall.
Shall we dive into this one? And clink.
So good. Oh yeah, that is both sour and salty. Whoa.
Huh.
I've never...
Guys, it's happened.
What? You don't like it?
I'm gonna drink it.
You never... It's not bad, right?
No, it's not bad, but it wouldn't...
It's the least good of the
I wouldn't choose it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not as sour as I want my sour ales to be. And it's definitely saltier than I want any of my beers to be.
Mm-hmm. Big grains of salt.
Yeah.
That's odd.
I'm practically chewing on the salt.
That's a strange one.
Yeah, you never actually gave us your good or...
The other one I said good.
Not good.
I said good for you.
No, I know you said you liked it, but just like in your...
So the Tesla by 6-point... Good. The Jammer by 6-point... Not a hard pass.
Not a hard pass.
But a pass. I'm not drinking it again, is what I'm saying.
Well, it's fine. As long as you're not going to go dump it out, as long as you're going to drink the rest of it.
Hey, but I'm also not like the biggest fan of sour beers.
If you want to pour some of that back.
Oh, I'm going to drink it.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan of sour beers.
Well, hopefully you like the one we have for one of our next couple of episodes.
But I've had a couple that were good. The sour cherry...
It was good.
That was good. And I've had some...
So you like the Newburgh sour ones.
Yes.
You had the Checkpoint Charlie and you like that one too.
Mm-hmm.
We have another one coming up. We're not 100% sure what episode it'll be. But one of the next couple episodes. We'll figure that out when we're recording tomorrow.
That last taste grew on me.
Oh, yeah?
Another problem with this one is I think I would like it better colder.
Probably.
As I do most beers.
Well, because you kicked us out of the kitchen for this episode, I couldn't
did.
give it to us cold. So.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do? Wild card.
Well, let's hope that
Cut the brakes.
Let's hope that the wet blanket that this beer has been so far will not be an indication of what's to come, because I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about next.
Dive in.
So, something, usually you handle the leads and stuff, but I'm going to take this one.
I figured you want this one.
I'm going to grab this by the reins. So, something that you and me have discussed a bit in the like so say the past year. It's stuff that I've been reading about for the last year or two, and it's mostly come from one source, and it's people who write about movies, like for like legitimate outlets or whatever. Not to say that we're not a legitimate outlet, but from people who write to more people than who read our stuff. Fair. Is the concept of superhero fatigue, whether or not we're going to hit that breaking point in the industry where people just are not going to turn out for superhero movies anymore because they're bored. And it's kind of inevitable in the life cycle of any product or no matter how great anything is. Breaking Bad only ran 5 seasons, right? You know what I mean? Like, you hit a point where it's just too much, or it's just enough, and that, you get out on top if you can. The newsroom.
Get out on top.
They didn't even get out on top.
I think they did.
He mailed it in the last season.
We could fully disagree on that at another time.
It's not that it was bad. It's just that I'm disappointed.
I'm not upset.
I'm just disappointed.
Doctor the goddamn Thames.
But that's season 2, though. Yeah, we're talking about Don Kafer. We talked about him in the past.
I love that guy. He was in John Wick.
Yeah, well, that's in the John Wick episode. We talked about it. Yeah, it's pretty much the same character. So I think we're going to kick off here is talk about whether or not we've hit the point of fatigue. We're going to get to another topic that I'm even more interested in after this, but I think we need to address this first, whether or not we've hit or whether the near horizon is showing this fatigue. Because people have been calling the fatigue factor coming up for like 2 or 3 years now, and they couldn't have been more wrong, at least from where we've been so far. Right. So, just the quick answer for now, before we get in a little deeper, do you think we're even anywhere close?
Do I think we're close?
To hitting the fatigue level. To the bubble bursting.
I do.
Okay, because I disagree. I don't think we're there.
I don't think we're there. I think we're getting close.
I don't even think we're close with a caveat.
Okay.
I think we're redlining on DC.
That's okay. That's really more what I'm getting at because
I think the industry as a whole is fine as long as Marvel hasn't really had a miss. Their biggest miss is Iron Man 2.
Yeah,
which is like is still better than any of the DC movies.
Any of the DCEU movies.
That's what when I say that. That's what I mean because the Nolan movies are great, but they're not part of the DC thing.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of where I say we are. I think they're going to hurt the industry as a whole though because
I'm not saying they won't, but I don't think they'll kill the industry. Is the point?
No, they won't because
Disney's
not going to let it die.
They're just going to implode.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be hurting themselves mostly. There'll be a handful of casual fans that'll say, "I'm just done with all of this." But there's too many quality movies coming out of Marvel right now, and now X-Men is stepping up to the plate as well.
Yeah. I do think there are things that have helped that, like it not.
Yes, but that's what I want to talk about later. I don't want to get to that yet. Yeah, because that's the meat of this topic.
Yeah. Okay. So as of right now, I can't put them both together. If they're both together, then I guess no, it's not. But separately, DC is definitely. I'm fatigued.
See, when we were talking about this about a year or so ago, though, you were nowhere near there. But I think even you've come around, even though you've enjoyed enough about Batman vs Superman to be still with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever really watch that movie again, honestly.
Batman vs Superman?
Yeah. I'd be willing to give the director's
Squad
cut
is like
a
Stockholm
chance.
Syndrome if you watch that again.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do it. I won't. I refuse. It would have to be be like a punishment.
I do think that you need to do the director's cut, give it a chance, just so that
I'm willing to see just that.
I actually want to watch. We should watch that together at some point.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm on board with that. I know you said you have it, right?
Yeah.
So we could do that at some point. Although I don't want to do that as part of the.
I have a lot of bad movies.
You're still trying to steer us back to that thing? We talked about that in the Lego Batman episode. You're talking about your friends having the bad movie.
Oh no, no! I just have I have a lot of movies. So
we plotted.
Of course, many of them are bad.
We plotted out what might be the demise of this show with us doing an episode on the Christmas special in Star Wars. I don't know.
It's like 20 years later, looking back. There's an interview. Really, where it all went wrong was
like the awkward documentary where it's
and then tragedy struck.
in a move some people called
and
horrible.
There's like
just horrible.
It's like two separate interviews. There's a guy with you, and he's like, December 2018. He gives you like the exact date that we recorded the episode.
I don't recall that day.
And your face just drops.
We can either do that, where it's like the awkward, like, like, sorry, what did you want to ask me about next?
Yeah.
Or it could be December 15th, 2018. I don't recall that day. Was there anything of particular? You and your cousin Anthony, your former partner.
It never happened.
You and your former partner recorded an episode of Flix and a Six. Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun doing that show. What episode was that? I don't remember. The Star Wars Christmas special. The what?
Throws a chair. Interview over.
So is there anything you want to talk about more about the whole bubble, or do we want to get right into?
I think we just should dive into it.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure if there's anything else we want to address. So, for me, the reason that I think that this is still sustainable, and it's something that we've touched on a bit together, but I have been trying to more fully flesh out now, is why this can still work and why Marvel has been so successful is because outside of the Avengers, they're not making superhero movies. They're making genre movies that have superheroes in them.
Right.
And that's like the really successful Marvel movies. And also, I'm going to incorporate in here, I said I wanted to start bringing X-Men back into the fold, if you want to talk about Logan too.
Yeah.
Logan, Captain America Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, these are not superhero movies. They're a Western, a 70s style spy thriller. It's a Blade Runner meets Mass Effect space opera, and it's a heist movie. Those are not superhero movies.
Right.
There are these other really specific genre movies that are excellently done that have superheroes in them, which is cool as shit. When you think
that's
about
a creative mind though over there. Right?
Yes,
like it's like that. Disney does no wrong. Like that's just like how it is. They're so good at what they do.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
why their movies, I feel like they do stand apart, and they stand like the caliber of the movies that they put out is far and away.
Yes,
like, from
high quality production. Even when you're bringing in a rookie like James Gunn, right, for Guardians of the Galaxy, or even first movie in the Marvel universe that had some internal strife with the production, Ant-Man. They had the guy who wrote and was going to be directing the movie. It was I always forget which one was which. Peyton Reed was the one who ended up finishing doing it, but it was Edgar Wright.
Yeah, Edgar Wright.
Who I love Edgar Wright. Three Cornettos. I know you love the movies too. I love them. And Scott Pilgrim, which have you seen Scott Pilgrim?
Parts of it. I liked it. I only caught it like halfway through, but I enjoyed it.
That's gonna be one that we have to sit down, like bring a friend and watch a movie episode.
Yeah,
that's one we're gonna have to do because I love that movie.
Okay,
and I feel like you would love the movie too. Great cast, and it's just so different and quirky.
Yeah,
and Edgar Wright's awesome. So yeah, they had the whole.
So is Michael Cera.
Yeah. See, I'm not even really a huge Michael Cera fan, although he's good in that. I like him in Arrested Development.
What I desire to.
Yeah, so he was funny as Robin. I know that's such a great line. But yeah, so they had that whole thing with Edgar Wright where he writes the script and he's going to direct it, and then the studio tampered.
Right.
It's the first time we've really seen that with that, and he walks, and they have Peyton Reed come in and do some rewrites. Although they did mend the relationship because Edgar Wright ended up getting a writing credit and a production credit, I think, on it. They kind of brought him back into the fold, and they kind of revamped his thing, and then they did it under Peyton Reed's direction. But that movie, that was the first one that I was like I said before, I kept going and being excited. I wasn't super excited for that one because of how clunky it was, and I wasn't sold on the idea of Paul Rudd as a superhero.
Right.
And it's a really good movie.
It's so good. It's so fun.
It's fun. It's funny. The action scenes were cool. And it's another one of those things where it's smart and it gets it. The scene where they're fighting in the suitcase. Yeah. And he accidentally, I'm going to kill you. And he puts on I forgot what song it was. Or, I'm going to destroy you or something like that. And it was Destroy by whoever. They're playing it. And the scene where, and they showed it in the trailer and it totally lived up in the movie when they get super
the pan
small.
out of the train.
There's the top of the tank engine crashing into them. Good. And just awkwardly falling off the track, like that's smart stuff. And like Paul Rudd was really good. Like that was, I guess it was just the right character. Like he wouldn't work as Captain America,
right?
And I don't know a lot about Scott. I've got Hank Pym as the one who was the original Ant-Man. He was who. What's his name played?
Douglas.
Yeah, Michael Douglas played. I'm forgetting that it's Scott, whatever. It was just the right character for him, right? And he was funny. He gets to do his little charming thing, and he worked as that Scott Lang. He got to work his ass off, right? And like he was convincing in the fight scenes, right? Like even just him fighting with Evangeline Lilly, like when they're doing the training montage, the obligatory training montage in an origin story or whatever. But you get sold on the fact that it's like it becomes this whole heist movie, and you have a good cast, and it's like you can look past the fact that it's another origin movie.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like one, even though it is one, because you get so much more going on.
Yeah,
and you get the whole tie-in with the Avengers. You get a little cameo by Anthony Mackie.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie.
And the same thing with Doctor Strange, which I didn't mention as one of the ones that's genre specific.
Yeah.
It was Inception, but with superheroes, right?
Absolutely.
Like it was like Inception Matrix kind of like, but
time.
Yeah, the whole time bending thing, like, and I again, really strong cast. Like I like everyone in that movie, and also maybe an opportunity to break the mold of the Marvel villain not continuing on, because technically Caecilius doesn't die in that.
Right.
And I love Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Tremendous actor. So good in Hannibal. You should watch that show. You would like that show. He is tremendous in Hannibal. But, it's not, even though it's an origin story, it's a little clunky in the beginning because you do feel like it's an origin story. But past that, it's like, you want to buy in because you're getting a whole new world of this stuff. You're getting whole new powers, a whole new edge on this Marvel universe, right?
Yeah.
What did you think of it? Because I know we haven't really had a chance to talk about that movie very much, because I just saw it a couple weeks ago. The
Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was one of those movies, and it's funny because like I don't know, I feel like I should just allow myself to get more hyped about the movies. This is where, when we originally talked about the superhero fatigue, it was before I saw this movie.
Yeah, it was before.
And it was because like I was starting to be like, all right, another one's coming out. I feel obligated to see it because I know I'm going to at least enjoy part of it.
Yeah.
Right? And then I end up loving it.
Yeah.
Loved it every second of it.
Yes.
And I guess that's really what I have to say about Doctor Strange. It was just different. Like I don't, but like I guess I think my ties to loving it are like you said. Like you brought up Inception.
Yes.
And like this whole like manipulated world.
Yes.
Around you, and like all of the time bending stuff, like all of that just works for me. And like I love like that sci-fi aspect of things, and seeing that in a there you go, Marvel. It's your point right there. Like this is a sci-fi movie.
It's a weird sci-fi like
with a Marvel character.
Yes, and that's it. How brilliant is this? Like
right, because Disney knows movies.
Yeah, like it keeps coming back to that. Sorry, I'm just trying to double check here because I forget the guy. Is it Feige? Is it Kevin Feige or Paul? The guy who's he's the one who's in charge of the Marvel properties. Like he's the Kathleen Kennedy of Marvel. Is where she is for Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta double check but he is brilliant. He is so brilliant to the guy who's in charge of, I can't remember his name now either, in DC, who I think they're trying to like oust because he's done such a shit job with guiding this ship. But he just keeps putting people in the right position to succeed here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's Kevin Feige.
So there's a couple of things to this. So like as I said, like if you break it down, it's Disney.
Yes.
You're winning. Then you're not making superhero movies. You're making these genre movies that have superheroes in them. That really does make it stand apart from it just being a loud music in a trailer.
Yes.
Right. Bringing it back, and then it's it's not just that. Like, it's not just a genre movie. Like, they can make a good movie because they're writing a story, not specifically like, sure, like there's like the origin stories are in there, but like they're just writing this story.
Yes.
Around these, and it does help that these characters are established in another format.
Yes.
And they have like all this backstory that they can pull from and manipulate and make it work.
Like, I don't know anything about Ant-Man. I just know that he's a dude who gets in a suit and can
sure.
shrink.
Yeah.
But I totally buy in
yeah.
on the movie because you've given me a character who I can relate to. Mm-hmm. And you've given me a story that isn't just this guy's going to go punch things.
Right.
Like, it's something that... And it's about the characters. Like, you have a bunch of characters that you care about their motivations to some extent. It's not always been super connected with all of them, right? But to a certain extent with each of these characters, you buy in at some point. That's why you stick around for the whole movie, right? You buy in on the motivations of the person, whether it be the family, whether it be Doctor Strange breaking down your ego. You know, it's we see a bit of ourselves in each of them. You see Scott Lang wanting to make it work with his family. You see Doctor Strange wanting to be more than what he was because he's realizing that he's up his own ass so much that
it's
hurting everyone around him.
Like figuring out that he's like a dick.
Yes.
But like the whole and that's my next point of that was going to be is that all of these movies make you feel something.
Yes.
And that's kind of why you go.
Yes.
Like that's
even if the something is something as light and easy as just fun or laughter, like happiness, right? Joy.
Right.
Disney
again knows how to pull emotion out of you in whichever ones they want to do.
For a movie to be successful in any way beyond just the surface, like, oh, it made me laugh, or oh, it had action. If you want to go past any form of like blockbuster popcorn fare, the movie needs to make you feel something, whether it's anger, rage, joy. It doesn't matter.
But not in the same way that Halloween 2 made me feel extreme rage.
No.
Not like that.
I don't mean... you're not supposed to be
the art itself.
You're not supposed to be angry at the movie.
Got it.
Yeah, no, it's not supposed to be anger at the movie. It's supposed to be an empathetic rage for what's going on, right? That you see some, even if it's a small reflection of your own personal battle with something that you would be angry at, you see reflected on the screen. Mm-hmm. The movie is supposed to be a foil to the person who's viewing it, right? It's supposed to bring that out in you.
Right. And
they've succeeded to some degree or other in every one of these, especially in the last 5 years.
Absolutely.
And DC has yet to evoke any emotion in me that's not directed at the movie.
New DC.
What?
New DC.
Well, the DC Extended Universe. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just.
I think that's important though. It's the fact that there were 3 movies that were fucking amazing.
But it's not part of the DC Extended Universe.
I know, but it is it's DC branded properties.
It's just hard to say DCEU. It doesn't flow nicely. Yeah. So the DCEU has yet to evoke that emotion in me. Mm-hmm. It has evoked some rage at the screen, and again, it's not Halloween 2. That's not the type of thing I'm talking about. I've yet to connect on an emotional level in any way with these movies.
The whole Martha scene didn't do it for you?
Again, I was laughing, but I was laughing at it, not with it.
Why do you know that name?
I can't believe it, but like Pete Holmes did that scene better.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, look up Pete Holmes' Bad Men.
Oh.
And try and watch all of them, but the one with him and Superman.
So good.
I was a boy.
Now I'm a man.
that one is the Joker one.
Where'd you get that stupid suit? Your dead dad give it to you?
Didn't
Bruce, your parents are dead. Don't bring it up!
I do want to bring back a little bit, just a little before, because I think we're getting close to wrapping up here, to the idea of doing something genre-specific, because the one that's the most out there is Guardians of the Galaxy, and I don't know if I told you this, but it's something I've seen in recent weeks, and I think is really cool, and it works perfectly timing-wise right now, because Mass Effect Andromeda came out. I don't know how many people have played the Mass Effect series. It's my favorite series of all time to play. But James Gunn when I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, wow, this feels like Mass Effect in a movie a little bit. And in the couple of weeks before Andromeda released, someone was asking me about it on Twitter, and he said, fuck yeah, I was inspired by Mass Effect.
That's great.
He goes, yeah, if you're a Mass Effect fan and you felt like it was Mass Effect while watching Guardians of the Galaxy, you were right.
That's awesome.
He's like, Blade Runner, Mass Effect, and Star Wars are like the three...
Police Academy.
the three big like motivations or inspirations to Guardians of the Galaxy. And to see that, because there was talk, the original Mass Effect coming out in 2007, there was talk around 2009-ish of them doing an actual feature Mass Effect film. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty much dead in the water, and it's probably for the best, because as much as I'd love to see it, it would work way better in a Game of Thrones type of medium, because it's such a long, in-depth story. It needs more than 2 to 3 hours to flesh it out.
Sure.
The first game is a 35-hour game. Not that you would need all that content, because a lot of it's exploration and stuff, but to see that on screen in some small bit on Guardians of the Galaxy, it does open that something that people probably haven't seen. And that was one of the reasons that Guardians connected for me so much, and I know you enjoyed it a lot as well.
Yeah.
That aesthetic and that kind of open world, kind of just ridiculous, and it's that almost an 80s throwback to some of that sci-fi stuff, which is Blade Runner. In the original Mass Effect, they also said that they kind of were inspired by the atmosphere and aesthetic of Blade Runner as well, although they stylized it a bit more. But that sort of thing was, we're talking about a heist movie or a 70s political thriller. There's nothing more genre-specific and way out there than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's really...
Science fantasy movie.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that sci-fi, fantasy, space opera type feel.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see how they expand on that
and
for the new one.
If you're not 100% sure what you're talking about, just look at the Benicio del Toro's character.
Yeah,
that's
the collector.
The picture of him.
Yes,
that is the embodiment of the genre of that movie.
Yes,
it's perfect.
And just the way he walks around and his awkward mannerisms with his hands and stuff like that.
Like when everything's destroyed around him and he's drinking his little...
And he's shaking a little bit, right? As he's shaking, and Howard the Duck's there talking to him.
It's that's everything that movie is, and it works so well.
Yes.
That movie is there to make you laugh.
Yes.
And make you wonder. It's crazy.
And I'll be honest, I get... Not to the extent of possibly tearing up, like we're talking about with Logan, but this... I find myself overcome with a sense of some sort of emotion when they grab the Infinity Stone.
Oh, yeah.
At the end.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole thing of, as the music crescendos, it's ridiculous, the coloration and the way it's shot, and bridging the gap between him reaching out to connect finally, fully with the team.
Yeah.
And is the same thing as an analog to how he failed at reaching out to connect with his dying mother at the beginning of the movie. The way that whole thing goes together, sends chills down my spine. And when it finally with how are you doing this, and it's we're the Guardians of the Galaxy, bitch. It's like a perfect punctuation to such. It's like a fucking maelstrom of emotion that's going on in that whole scene, right?
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm just thinking about that scene,
right?
Yeah.
It does. It kind of gives you chills, and then you still want a fist pump at the end, and it's like.
And you just want the music to start again?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's so good. Now I just want to go watch that.
I'm really looking forward to the next one, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We should definitely do that together for this.
We most certainly will.
All right. So that's good for me, man. Let's
all right. So that's been episode 5 of Flix and the Six, Spinchoon production. Check out spinchoon.com to catch a new episode every Monday and a new article every Thursday. If you want to keep the conversation going, you can reach us at The Spinchoon on Twitter and Facebook, or email thespinchoon@gmail.com. That's THESPINCHOON @gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in.